And new details coming out of Sinton about a shooting that sent a woman to the hospital last night. San Patricio County Sheriff Oscar Rivera says 80-year-old Roger Moore was arrested in connection with that shooting. He was taken into custody last night north of Sinton. Now, it all happened behind an apartment complex near the Sinton High School track. Rivera says the 51-year-old victim was taken by halo flight to the hospital after suffering multiple gunshot wounds. No word on her condition tonight.